Well, hello there. We are exposing the hidden darkness, what attacks our nations and how it affects us. And when we're exposing these areas that is coming, the reason it has to be exposed, we must always be in a position of exposing the enemy. That's mandatory. So we have to learn about the enemy. We have to know what type of enemy this is and how he gets in. This enemy is attacking the nation. And today, what we're seeing is that we have an enemy that's attacking our nation, that's bringing depression among many people, that's bringing mental illness amongst many people. And this type of enemy that is attacking our nation is causing people to come up with means of how they are to deal with it, such as taking drugs, opioids, marijuana, whatever it is people trying to find a way how to cope. That's what it's all about. But what I'm saying to you is that we are in a new season right now, and it is my assignment to coach you supernaturally to be able to have the revelation of how to crush the work of hidden darkness that's in our nation. But look, that same darkness that's here hitting our nation, believe it or not, it is also traveling to other places. It's traveling to other nations. Because look, we who are getting the revelation of this, who are royalty, what's happening here, we're learning how to be able to be a covering to other nations, which means they got to come sit at our table, which means we are blessed to be a blessing. But what happens in this season of a blessing, those people are going to have to go into their wallet, all right, that transfer of wealth, and give it to you based on your ability to serve and solve their problems. That's what this is all about. That's why it's important to be able to capture and get the understanding, get the revelation of what it is and how to defeat hidden darkness. This is an assignment. This is a crucial assignment. What makes it crucial? Look around you. Look at your community. Go across the tracks of your community, and you will see that there is a struggle everywhere you look. But the struggle, as we say, is real. But you're, for such a time as this, is the generation that is prepared and capable of destroying the works of what's attacking our society. See, that's what that is. See, right now, we don't have time to go back into who we like and who we don't like in our past. We don't have time to deal with cultures that we may not like from our past. But where we are right now, we're dealing where the responsibility, the burden, the proof, the truth is on you. It's on me. That's what this is about. Because look, these darknesses are hidden. And they're hidden for a reason. And in hiding, they are affecting people that don't know that they exist. That's right. People don't know that these hidden darknesses that's affecting our nations, that's affecting our children, that's affecting our communities, that's affecting our schools, is demonic. But you have access to destroying these type of works. I have access. That's why I'm here. My assignment is to be a supernatural coach to get you the revelation of how to deal with this. Once you hear what I'm saying and it's practical and it makes sense, now you can take this and walk with it. Because all I'm trying to do is get to match your DNA, to match your fingerprint, to match your eye print, to match your voice print, to give you something that when you hear it, you can say, wait, that makes sense. Once it makes sense, we off to the races. Once it makes sense, darkness, demons, Gorloks, ghosts, whatever that is, will bow to your vibe. Because they're attacking people that don't know how to deal with it. They're attacking people and it's causing sicknesses. It's causing diseases. It's causing lack, low self-esteem. And if you pull back right now, those that were once wealthy are losing it. They're losing their grip. Those that were impoverished, for many people, is getting worse. But then you got a group that's coming on up. That's you coming on up with understanding to know that whatever those things are, you have authority over it. We have authority over so much, but here's the key. The authority that we have is coming from that area of what I call the greatest blessing of all blessing. Do you all have an idea what the greatest blessing of all blessing is? If you do, I'm going to pause for a moment and I want you to type it in. What is the greatest blessing of all blessings? When I say it, it's going to make so much sense for you. But I want to give you an opportunity to put it in. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Here we go. The greatest blessing of all blessings is the blessing of shalom, the blessing of peace, that blessing of nothing missing and nothing broken. That blessing is so powerful, it has access to be able to defeat all enemies on your behalf, and you can have a limited amount of knowledge, not a lack of knowledge, because that will bring destruction. But if you have the knowledge of shalom, that shalom will go and fight that battle for you. That knowledge of shalom will produce wisdom for you that's beyond your capability, but it's a supernatural gift. Once you're moving on this supernatural gift, you will see things that's working on your behalf, and people will cleave to you. Hear what I'm saying? They're cleaving to you based on your abilities to solve their problems. What is that when I say solving their problems? That means you are moving as a servant. When you are a servant, you are royalty. That's a crown, all right? You're royalty when you serve. Because look, a king that does not have the ability to serve is a waste of time. Am I telling the truth? Come on, if you're a king, even a queen, you call yourself a queen, but if you can't solve no problems, you're a waste of time. That is, come on the streets, what I just said to you is an entrepreneurial spirit. Because when you have that entrepreneurial spirit, just like McDonald's, what did McDonald's say on a big old golden sign? It says, billions and billions served, right? That means they're saying on a hamburger level, terrible burgers for many people, all right? I can't tell you the last time I had one. But if they can say billions served, they're serving from their perspective, and they are right because people are still going there. Well, what I'm saying that you have, if they could say that, what you have is greater. That's right. So now, in that greater and being able to solve, there's an exchange that happens. Why? Because you're dealing with hidden darkness that's hidden from them, but now it's exposed to you. How do we know that these darknesses are exposed? You can tell the darkness is exposed by how people respond in their life. If they're moving in fear, that darkness has them. If they're moving in mental challenges, if they're spending too much money, if they're looking this, their eyes all bugged out or whatever, if they're looking for drugs, they have an issue where they're unable to solve their problems. If they're dealing with certain pharmaceutical drugs, look what happens with those certain pharmaceutical drugs. Let me tell you what they do. What they do is they open the door to what they call side effects. Those side effects is demonic and it's hidden. Come on, when they say that it can bring suicide, it can bring this, it can bring that, it can bring migraines. Each one of those type of issues is related to some form of a spirit. And it's on all of us, which is an influence, and we're opened up to it. Well, I'm saying to you today, we are the generation that defeats all of that with proof, because there's got to be proof what I'm saying. If there's no proof in what I'm telling you, I'm wasting my time being on here with you tonight. Come on, because there got to be proof. See, faith without proof is a counterfeit. Faith without proof, or faith without proof is no results. We're talking about results right now. We're the generation of results. I'm an elder to that generation when I say that, all right? Because what I'm saying is meant for you, because I'm older than you. I know I am. I might have some older folks that's in agreement with me, but I'm speaking to the younger generation. If there's no proof in your action of love, because look, love is a weapon as well. Love is a weapon, peace is a weapon, power to produce miracles is a weapon, and also having authority is a weapon. That's the key. That's the Trinity right there that you got to have. That is it. It is power, it's love, and it is peace of mind. But with that power, you having authority. when you're flowing in that area, the enemy, I don't care which one it is, one of those entities that I just mentioned, power, love, peace, power with authority, you're going to have access to defeat all situations, all creatures. As you're moving in this, we're talking about a society that has not seen who you are. They have no idea of what's in you. What is in you is unlike anything that mankind has ever seen. Meaning that whatever dark situation that's out there, because normally the way it's worked, society will send you a therapist, right, to solve that issue. But what about when you meet the therapist that comes along and say they don't know what to do? What about the therapist that says they're having issues with those hidden darknesses jumping on them? How are you going to deal with that? Well, let me tell you how you're going to deal with it. You're going to look at them and say, look, I got your answer. That means you're moving in the ability of royalty. That royalty is a crown. That royalty is moving as a king. A king is the one who serves and solves problems. When you solve problems, you become the head and you're no longer the poopy. That season is over, being the poopy. The poopy is a waste of time. What's the poopy good for? Nothing. Not anymore. But look, you also are above and you're not beneath. What does that mean when I say above? Above means you have intelligence from eternity that crushes everything in the middle and at the bottom. That means what is in you causes every knee to bow based on what's in you. Not what's in your head. Your head has to learn. Come on, I'm being your supernatural coach to get you there, all right? Your head has to learn how to be submissive to all eternity, because that eternity is right here. When you're connected to eternity, look what Christ said. He said it's written in the word in the Old Testament by David that you too are God's. That's right. So as he is, so are you. That's the key. That's the connection. From the neck up, you're a waste of time. You just jive. There's no power there. And that's what the enemy wants to do. He wants to get you connected to where you're working from yourself in your own mind. When you're working from your mind, you have no authority. That means you're in agreement with whatever is being said in the natural. Whatever is being said on TV, on MSNBC, on Fox. You're committed to that. You're committed to your pastors as well, who are natural type people with no authority. There's nothing godly about them when it comes to defeating those hidden demons, the hidden agendas. And for what I'm saying to you, once you capture this, those guys got to come sit at your table. That's right. Why? Because you have answers. The answers that you have is for the purpose of breakthrough. We're in a season of breakthrough, and this season of breakthrough comes because of you, and you the one that has breakthrough in you. So that's a good place to confess, I am breakthrough. That's right. Say that with me. I am breakthrough. You're breakthrough right now. That's a character. That's a character from eternity. That's a character from peace. And look, when we dealing with this area of dealing with hidden darkness, the hidden darkness is coming after your heart. But the word tells us, John 14:1, that we are to guard our heart, all right? Guard your heart. Let not your heart be troubled. That's what darkness wants to do. It wants to attack your heart, get you in fear, because the fear is in the heart. Now you're worried because all the power also deals with the heart. So we've got some agency things going on here. We have options that's going on here. Your heart can be in agreement with darkness, or your heart can be in agreement with eternity. When your heart is in agreement with eternity, you have that shalom blessing, the greatest blessing of all, if you can receive what I'm saying, which gives you the authority to crush the works of darkness. But if your heart is in agreement with darkness, you could be praying all day. Your pastor could be praying all day. Because remember, darkness understands prayer. Darkness understands the word, but moving with no power. So it's going to give you a little, pervert that little that it gives you, bring chaos to your community, bring chaos to your people, bring chaos to your culture, and it's going to bring chaos to the nation. Notice how the Most High God says. He says, I can't get rid of the nations just yet. I can't get rid of the beasts. Because if I do, the land that's promised to you will become desolate. Ain't that what he said? So that means now we have an assignment to protect. We have an assignment to attack. We have an assignment to mature. As we're maturing, the land is listening to us. Because look, in the book of Romans, it says it like this. The earth is waiting on you. The earth is waiting on the sons and daughters of the Most High God. That is what the earth is waiting on. And as the earth is waiting for us, we're seeing a result. We're seeing a result now. And look, the result is amazing. You just have to practice it. We have nothing to lose but what I'm saying to you. But look, if you're in a part of the country where it is overheated, all right, just super hot, start practicing and speaking the word. And let me tell you what's going to happen in some cases, because I've done this. I was talking with an old lady, and it had to be like 95 degrees, all right? It was outside the bank. And so it was in my heart to love on this old lady. She had to be about 90-something years of age and still driving, all right? And look, older people, they like wearing sweaters, and it's hot. So she had a sweater in that type of temperature. And so she and I are talking, and I kid you not, I wasn't hot, neither was she. But what made me realize that something supernatural was happening, when people were walking by, it was as a supernatural magnifying glass came on these people and made it hot. So what I'm saying to you is, we have in our own environment the ability to change the climate. Now we're talking climate change like everybody else say. But on your watch, it can be holy. On your watch, it can be perfect. Because whatever is going on with the climate is based on judgment and is as of to judgment, because that's what's prophesied. So if that's what it is, and it's coming from judgment like that, what we're going to do, we're going to hold strong. We're going to hold the faith. And whatever is going on that is out of order, you got to start paying attention to see what's out of order. You got to pay attention to see what is distracting according to things that should not be occurring on your watch. Storms coming to the land based on my house. I can pray. The storm can come and my house is still standing. I can pray. My neighbors are still standing. I can pray. My neighborhoods are still standing. All right. No lights going off. I can pray. So can you. Hidden darkness. There's hidden darkness, whereas a brother out of Chicago was saying how it is very evil. There's things that's happening right now, whereas not only the locals are being affected, but also who else is being affected? People that are traveling there, visitors, tourists, they're being affected. So look, with them being affected, he said, man, it's bad. Well, this brother had no answers. All right? He had no answers. So even though he had no answers, what's the deal? What's the responsibility there? How are we going to observe that? Well, he's a watchman calling out the problem. So with him calling out the problem, I heard it. Now, I'm in agreement with him to defeat and destroy the works of that demonic spirit that's there. As I observed how what's happening in Chicago, I also know that that same energy was attacking Baltimore. That same energy was attacking Montgomery, Alabama, New Orleans, Louisiana. And you can check reports that are saying how bad the crime was, and it's not happening as it was before. That's the season that we're in. That's the season when you, look, if you believe that you're chosen, this is the time to press in with your prayer, call things out to order, call things out to come into a place of structure. Now look, some of us may be calling things out from a place of finances, all right? And let me say this to you. There are demonic strongholds that's coming after your finances. They are demonic strongholds that know that in your finances or know about you that you have authority in this next season. The demons know that you have an inheritance coming. The demons know that they are wicked and they have to give their wealth to you. The demons are aware of that. They understand the law. What the demon is trying to do is get you to circumvent the promise. That's what it's trying to do. The demon is trying to get you to be in agreement with a total different agreement other than a promise. If the promise is the land and you have access to it, what is the demon going to want to do? Have you to believe that you are to get a total different property. But that's not what God said. That's a part of where our understanding is important in this process. Because the demon wants you to give up your promise, to give up your rights, to give up your financial blessing. If you don't give it up and you hold on, the promise is yours. But how do you hold on? Come on, I got to be a supernatural coach right now. Let me tell you how to hold on. Because if you don't have this truth of what I'm getting ready to share with you, it's going to be impossible to hold on. And it goes to that blessing of shalom. When you carry peace, you're more than a conqueror. When you carry peace, you have the ability to look at darkness and tell it to shut up. When you carry peace, you can move in wisdom. Things start to make sense. You have a voice now that when you speak, all darkness becomes afraid of you. There are people that are giving up their inheritance because they're giving it up. Do you think the darkness is going to take it from them? If you said yes, you're half right and half wrong. But let me tell you how I'm looking at it. It belongs to me. It ain't going over there. So that means if you don't see this and how I'm saying it, you're not snatching it. You're not taking it. We're in the greatest season of all times, whereas we're moving from not having anything to having it all. That's the promise of where we are. And having it all, you're going to have some attacks that's coming. You're going to have attacks that's going to come to your spirit. You're going to have attacks still of that poverty mindset. You're going to have attacks that's going to want you to have a negative heart. Because remember, that attack is coming at the heart. John's Gospel 14:1, let not your heart be troubled. For in my Father's house there are many mansions, all right? So the mansions of what I'm talking about is an expression of your great wealth. So as who you are in eternity, so are you in the earth, all right? So the resemblance of the wealth of who we are in eternity, we're the generation whereas it looks like that here on earth. Oh, that's amazing. Because look, whatever cannot survive in eternity, sickness, lack, poverty, low self-esteem, if that can't survive over there, why is it surviving here? Because we're not moving in our authority. You got the power, but is the authority there? And the authority comes with knowledge. Look, there's many of us that has authority, but we don't use the authority, we use arrogance. Arrogance simply means, I sure hope so, but I'm going to look the part. I'm going to fake it till I make it. That ain't what it is anymore. It might have been that way in the past, but it ain't that anymore. We're at a point right now when you observing and understanding the works of darkness, that hidden darkness. You may not know everything, but you know a little bit of something, a little dab of do you, all right? That's enough for right now for what you need to at least have access to know how the enemy moves. But wait, there's a little bit more that happens here. And that little bit more is there's an intelligence that's happening behind your back. There's an intelligence where you have an understanding in your heart. There's an intelligence where you have ministering angels that are assigned to you to protect you from behind your back, to be able to go forth and deal with darkness. You may have an assignment to go left and you chose to go right. Well, your blessing is still going to go left and be a blessing for where it is. So that means you can go to multiple places with this powerful blessing. because you're royalty. You're a king. You're serving to solve problems. Everybody ain't got what you got. So this is where we have to rise up. Everybody can't rise up with what I'm sharing. This is supernatural authority for such a time as this. You have the ability to tell the gun to shut up. So that means the gun will not move. You have the ability to tell the gun to backfire. You have the ability to tell the bullets to come out of the gun. Why? Because you're moving in a different dimension outside of classical laws. That's what God is saying. Do not be in agreement with the laws of man. But when you are in agreement with his spirit, his supernatural, you're moving in a different dimension that crushes every nation. Come on, we're a people right now that don't have any bombs, that don't have any missiles, but what we do have is the intelligence to render all of that powerless. That's in you, that's in me. And you're going to find yourself, if you put yourself out there, to find yourself where there's opportunities. Here's some opportunities. Right now, I ain't saying go look for somebody with a gun. No, I ain't saying that, all right? That sounds funny and crazy. But no, what about some that has the actual bullet in their body? And you pray for them. What about some that has metal rods in their body based on situations that they've gone through? And you pray for them. See, what I'm saying, that type of authority is in you right now. Remember, you're from a different dimension that has different laws that is not in this time, but has the ability to invade time through you. That's another way of saying you are a portal of that type of intelligence. The greatest blessing of all blessings is shalom. That shalom travels through you. That shalom is peace that's been given to you. It's been given to you as a crown. It's left to you as well. So you got a double dose right there. My peace is left to you and my peace is given to you, says the word. So now, the two types of ways that it moves is one, you have an inner peace that deals with you, that deals with your fear, that deals with your anxiety. That's the inner peace. That deals with your neighbor anxiety in inner situations. That deals with the heart. But also you have an outer peace. That outer peace deals with chaos, confusion. Them people over there crazy, when you show up, the influence of craziness leave. Then their family members saying, why you ain't crazy with that man or that woman over there? Because of who you are, what you're carrying, and what you're packing. That's what's so powerful about right now, this hour. My assignment is to be your supernatural coach and to assist you through the process. And if you want to lock in with us, just go ahead on and give us that follow. If you're on YouTube, go ahead on and subscribe with us. And for those that are with us on YouTube, we have classes whereas I take time out with you personally. That's called Haunted to Heal. And we have starting next week, September, we have the first 3 people that come on and subscribe with us. What we have, I do it with you at no charge at all, giving you my time, all right? To whereas you can come in and have time with me, 45 minutes of flowing into this supernatural blessing. The first 3 that have that request, I will provide that for you. That's through our YouTube channel, Supernatural Live with Leonard Lewis Butler. So we're moving, whereas this time is for us, those who see themselves as royalty, all right? But then we got those that are hurt right now. We got those that are going through some challenges right now. And look, we've had situations where people have met with their doctors and the doctors say what you have is going to stay with you. But when that blessing of peace comes, to their surprise, the person that have the issues and the doctors, they become a place of amazement. We're talking about when it comes to these types of miracles, you have 2 types of miracles, all right? You have the dominating miracle, whereas you got miracles that just straight up dominating. And then you have these supernatural, whereas it just can't be explained. So look, here's an example of dominating miracles. Someone can have a hidden spirit that's attacking them, and they don't know it. And let me tell you how I know it's hidden. I've met people that has had issues in their bodies for 40 years and learned to live with it, all right? And when you expose that enemy and get it out of there, some people may call it casting it out, all right? But whatever that was, because of your presence, is gone. And the person had the pain, and they'll say to you, look, I've had knee issues for 40 years. I don't feel the pain anymore. It's gone, right? Well, look, even though it's gone, we showed up. The enemy left, but it wasn't destroyed. It left, but it wasn't. How do we know it wasn't destroyed? One, it doesn't want to leave. Number two, it left one area and went to another. The first time I saw that, the person said, I have no more pain, so we shout. But wait, it didn't went over here, it moved over there. What does that tell you? It should tell you that it is what we will call a spirit, all right? That's what that is. So since it's a spirit, we got to deal with that thing directly before we're having a conversation dealing with the healing. Now we got to get this thing destroyed. We got to get it up out of here. Cast it out. Get the person to receive the blessing of peace. Not only are we casting it out, we're having the angels that are assigned to us to grab that thing by the neck, put a chokehold on it by the neck, give it an experience that's worse than the harshest slavery known to mankind. That's what we're doing to the demonic oppressors. We're putting a chain reaction against it. And so those entities, when they see you, because of the power and authority that you have today, they become super afraid of you. Hallelujah. I've been on with you all for about 32 minutes, and we're going to shut it down right now. I thank you all for coming in and being a part of our live tonight. I'll be back with you on tomorrow, all right? So come on in, join us, have a thought of the areas that you may want to attack. And I tell you, look, we get reports all the time when we leave like we're separating tonight. Be on the lookout for the blessing of peace flowing, and share that testimony with us, because that testimony will bless others. I thank you all for being here with us. If you want to join our tribe, make sure you subscribe.